Mystic Village by Jeannine Fortier. Chapter 1. Even though it felt as if it was only yesterday when Garth, Ariel, and the others had returned to the village from the compound, in reality, 3.5 years had gone by since their harrowing experience. For as long as they lived, it would never be forgotten. Now they were ready to begin anew with a different mindset, and making sure that everyone's needs were being met. Life in the community on the whole settled back into its normal, habitual routine, and birthday and holiday celebrations had become much livelier. In the nicer weather, windows were opened to allow the delicious aroma of freshly baked bread and gooseberry pies to trickle outdoors. The tantalizing smells would bring the children running for treats. Garth and Ariel completed their newly built stone home with the addition of one room so that her father could enjoy some privacy. He was getting on in age, but still wanted some independence. They needed more space for all the gifts they received from friends and relatives, and Garth decided to make the kitchen area bigger, adding a pantry and some shelves to one wall. Then he built a shed at the back of the property for his tools. To give more warmth to the hearth room, Ariel chose paisley wallpaper and green and beige woven rugs in the hearth room, which made the room feel much cozier. The village also expanded in those years as well, much too quickly from their leader's perspective. He wanted to keep the growth to a minimum and resisted some of the changes, eventually acceding, certainly not without some lively exchanges amongst the others and himself. A couple of Garth's friends moved to the village from Dublin, and he, Angus, and Jacob helped to build their homes. They also made the stable and silversmith shop bigger, and remodeled the general store to include a small post office. The development of the community meant having more conveniences, and the people voted to incorporate a small bank and a hall where they could hold meetings. The holiday festivity of the year 1796 had been an energetic one. Garth and Ariel and many of the villagers participated in Irish jigs, do-si-do dances, and the singing of Irish songs into the wee hours of the morning. The whole community got involved, with decorated the ancient stone church with sparkling gold garlands on the walls, poinsettias at the end of each pew, and red and white candles around the entire perimeter. The holiday mood overflowed from everyone's homes over to their place of worship. Some of the villagers played music on violins, accordions, and flutes. It turned out to be a great fun-filled celebration, especially for the children, who strutted around dressed in their finest holiday clothing. It was a spectacular way to end the year. The merrymaking and the rituals were finally over. Garth and Ariel decided to stay home the day after Christmas to have a nice family dinner, just the four of them. As they sat by the fire, the cinders sputtered in the hearth. While they relaxed, Ariel, in her blue silk lounging gown with her long red hair falling down in front of her, sat on the floor reading to the children from Gulliver's Travels. The twins, Bree and Peter, enjoyed quiet moments sitting by the fire, spending time with their mother as she read to them. Now nearing 2 years old, they were each the mirror image of their parents. Bree, like Ariel, was a spirited youngster and an energetic little girl with reddish auburn curly locks, freckles, and an elfin nose. Peter was the exact picture of his father as a young lad, tall for his age, black hair, deep brown eyes, and reddish-brown a skin tone. Garth wanted to unwind after spending the greater part of the day working with one of the villagers on a project. Unfastening the top of his cravat shirt, he laid back on his favorite rocking chair, putting his feet up on a stool. Although they were enjoying their warm, cozy home, Garth had a sudden, strange impulse to go for a stroll through the village. The temperature outside felt like they were living in the Arctic instead of Ireland. He didn't really want to be out in those conditions, but a nagging thought refused to go away. Undeniably, something was compelling him to go for a walk. Before leaving, he went to the back porch to get another log from the woodpile. As he bent down to throw it in the fireplace, the back of his neck tightened up. Panic rising, he said to Ariel, "I need to go for a while. I won't be long." "You're going out in this nasty weather? What on earth can be so important?" "I don't know. I think there might be—" "Nay, it's nothing." "You think there might be what? I don't understand. Is something bothering you?" "I just need some air. I'll be back shortly." "Well, if you must go out, you had better bundle up." Garth grabbed a fur hat off the coat rack, pulling the flaps down over his ears, gripped his coat collar, and as he opened the door, the freezing snow pellets whipped about him. Battling against fierce squalls, he trudged towards the general store. Before reaching it, he stopped and glanced toward the stable. He stiffened. Shadowed between the stable and an evergreen tree, he saw an unknown figure standing. He watched for a moment before approaching, but as he neared, it disappeared. Could it be? No, nonsense, it can't be, he thought. He hesitated, uncertain whether he should continue to look for the mysterious character. Desperately wanting to know who it was, he decided to search in the dark forest at the end of the village. The moment he set foot inside the woods triggered a familiar uneasiness, almost forgotten. The hair at the back of his neck stood up on end. His arms prickled. He turned abruptly and left. He urgently needed to speak with Thomas. It was now a full-blown blizzard, and with much exertion he plodded through the storm back to the village. He was physically exhausted by the time he reached the stately home, but with both his fists tightly clenched, he pounded at the front door.